Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. The dim lights of the bistro bar flickered as I wiped down the polished mahogany counter, my mind racing with ideas for our next theme night. The owner had tasked us with boosting profits, and theme nights seemed like the perfect solution. As I scrubbed at a particularly stubborn stain, Kate sauntered over, her fiery red hair catching the light. "Any brilliant ideas yet, genius?" she smirked, leaning against the bar. I shrugged, trying to appear nonchalant. "Maybe a few." "You?" Jody appeared from the stockroom, her arms laden with bottles. "I've got nothing. This whole theme night thing is giving me a headache." I couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement. This was my chance to prove myself, to show them I had what it took to make this place shine. "Actually," I began, setting down the rag, "I think I might have something." Both women turned to me, eyebrows raised in unison. I took a deep breath and launched into my pitch for a sophisticated cocktail party night. As I spoke, I could see the skepticism in their eyes slowly give way to interest. "Not bad," Kate admitted grudgingly when I finished. "But can you pull it off?" I nodded confidently, even as doubt gnawed at my insides. "Just watch me." The next week flew by in a whirlwind of preparations. I scoured thrift stores for vintage cocktail shakers and martini glasses, created a menu of classic drinks with modern twists, and even convinced the owner to spring for some live jazz. When the big night arrived, I stood behind the bar in a crisp white shirt and black bow tie, surveying the transformed space with pride. The customers began to trickle in, their eyes widening as they took in the elegant decor and the sultry notes of a saxophone. Soon the place was packed, the air filled with the clink of glasses and the buzz of animated conversation. I mixed drinks with a flourish, reveling in the appreciative murmurs and generous tips. As the night wore on, I caught sight of Kate and Jody huddled in a corner, whispering furiously. They shot occasional glances my way, their expressions unreadable. I pushed down the twinge of unease and focused on the task at hand, determined to make this night a roaring success. And a success it was. By closing time, the tip jar was overflowing, and the owner clapped me on the back with a broad grin. "Well done, kid. You've set the bar high for the next theme night." I basked in the glow of achievement, oblivious to the plotting taking place just a few feet away. The following week, it was Jody's turn to host a theme night. She'd settled on a beachy luau, complete with tropical drinks and kitschy decorations. As I arrived for my shift, Kate intercepted me at the door, a mischievous glint in her eye. "We've got a special outfit for you tonight," she said, shoving a bundle of fabric into my arms. "Go change." Confused but compliant, I made my way to the cramped employee bathroom. As I unfolded the bundle, my heart sank. It was a grass skirt and a coconut bra. "You can't be serious," I called through the door. "Deadly," came Jody's gleeful reply. "It's all part of the theme, remember?" Gritting my teeth, I changed into the ridiculous outfit. When I emerged, red-faced and mortified, Kate and Jody burst into peals of laughter. "Oh, this is too good," Kate wheezed, wiping tears from her eyes. "Smile for the camera." Before I could protest, she snapped a picture with her phone. I lunged for it, but she danced away, giggling. "Delete that," I growled. "Not a chance," she replied. "Now get behind the bar. The customers will be here any minute." The night was a blur of embarrassment and fruity cocktails. Customers alternated between good-natured laughter and awkward attempts not to stare. By the end of the shift, my cheeks were permanently flushed, and I'd never been so glad to change back into my regular clothes. As I left, I overheard Kate and Jody whispering excitedly about the next theme night. A sense of dread settled in my stomach. This, I realized, was only the beginning. The following week, it was Kate's turn. She'd decided on a 1950s sock hop theme, complete with poodle skirts and milkshakes. I approached the bar with trepidation, half expecting to be forced into a poodle skirt myself. To my relief, Kate handed me a simple white t-shirt and jeans. "This isn't so bad," I said, relaxing slightly. Kate's smile was a little too innocent. Just wait till you see what else we've got planned. As the night progressed, I began to let my guard down. The customers seemed to be enjoying themselves, and I was having fun mixing up root beer floats and cherry cokes. That's when Jody appeared at my elbow, a makeup bag in hand. "Time for your makeover," she announced. I backed away, shaking my head. "No way. The outfit is one thing, but makeup. It's all part of the authentic 1950s experience," Kate chimed in, materializing on my other side. "Don't be a square, Daddy-o." Before I could protest further, they had me cornered. Jody wielded a makeup brush like a weapon, dusting my cheeks with rouge while Kate attacked my hair with a comb and a truly alarming amount of pomade. When they finally stepped back to admire their handiwork, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirrored back of the bar. I barely recognized the person staring back at me. My hair was slicked into a perfect pompadour, my cheeks unnaturally rosy, and was that... Yes, they'd even given me a beauty mark. "I look ridiculous," I groaned. "You look dreamy," Jody corrected, barely containing her laughter. "The customers are going to love it." And love it they did. All night long, I endured wolf whistles and playful flirtations from women old enough to be my grandmother. By closing time, my cheeks hurt from forcing a smile, and I was ready to scrub my face raw. As I vigorously removed the last traces of makeup in the bathroom, I could hear Kate and Jody cackling outside. Their voices drifted through the thin door. "Did you see his face when Mrs. Henderson pinched his cheek? Forget that. Did you see how red he turned when Mr. Collins called him a cute little greaser?" I emerged from the bathroom, my skin pink from scrubbing and my pride in tatters. "Are you two quite finished?" They exchanged a look that sent a chill down my spine. "Oh, sweetie," Kate said, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "We're just getting started." The next theme night was mine again, but I approached it with none of the enthusiasm I'd had for the cocktail party. Whatever I chose, I knew Kate and Jody would find a way to turn it against me. In the end, I settled on a simple trivia night, hoping it would be too straightforward for their shenanigans. How wrong I was. I arrived early to set up, only to find Kate and Jody already there, identical grins on their faces. My stomach dropped. "What now?" I asked, resigned to my fate. "We thought we'd help you get into the spirit of things," Jody said, producing a tweed jacket with elbow patches from behind her back. I eyed it warily. "That doesn't look so bad." "Oh, this is just the beginning," Kate assured me. "Every good quizmaster needs the full professor look." Before I knew what was happening, they had me kitted out in the jacket, a pair of thick-rimmed glasses, and... Was that a pipe? "I draw the line at the pipe," I protested. "Fine," Kate conceded. "But you have to wear this." She placed a mortarboard on my head, complete with tassel. I sighed heavily, knowing resistance was futile. As customers began to arrive, I took my place at the front of the room, feeling like a caricature of an academic. Kate and Jody had even given me a pointer stick, which I twirled nervously as I waited to begin. The trivia night started smoothly enough. I read out questions, teams huddled together to discuss answers, and the atmosphere was lively but focused. Then, halfway through the second round, I noticed Kate whispering to a table of regulars. They all turned to look at me, snickering. Suddenly, hands shot up all around the room. I called on one of the regulars. "Yes, Mr. Thompson?" "Professor?" he said, barely containing his laughter. "Could you explain the theory of relativity? In detail, please." I blinked, caught off guard. Well, that's not really part of the trivia." Another hand went up. "Professor, what's your opinion on the current state of quantum mechanics?" The questions kept coming, each more outlandish than the last. It quickly became clear that Kate had put everyone up to this, turning me into the butt of an elaborate joke. I fumbled through nonsensical explanations, my face growing hotter by the minute. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Jody appeared at my elbow. "Don't forget your closing lecture, Professor," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. She thrust a stack of papers into my hands. I glanced down to see a speech filled with the most ridiculous scientific jargon I'd ever encountered. Looking up, I saw a sea of expectant faces, all struggling to keep straight faces. Taking a deep breath, I launched into the speech. "Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues," I began, my voice shaky. "Today we shall delve into the complex interplay between quantum entanglement and the socio-political ramifications of time dilation in a post-Newtonian paradigm." As I continued to spout increasingly absurd pseudoscience, the room erupted into fits of barely suppressed giggles. By the time I finished, my face was burning, and I wanted nothing more than to sink into the floor and disappear. The applause was thunderous and filled with laughter. As I made my way back to the bar, I caught sight of Kate and Jody high-fiving each other. They'd won this round, and they knew it. The following week, I approached the bar with a sense of impending doom. It was Jody's turn again, and after the professor incident, I knew she'd have something truly diabolical planned. I wasn't disappointed. "Fairy tale night," Jody announced gleefully as soon as I walked in. "And guess who gets to be our Cinderella?" My heart sank. "You can't be serious." But they were. Before I could even think about protesting, Kate and Jody whisked me away to the back room where they'd set up an impromptu dressing area. A frilly blue dress hung on a hanger, accompanied by a long blonde wig, and... were those glass slippers? "Absolutely not," I said, backing away. "This is going too far." "Come on," Kate cajoled. "It's for the kids." "Kids?" I repeated, confused. Jody nodded. "We're hosting a special family-friendly hour before the regular crowd comes in. Think of the children!" I groaned, knowing I was beaten. "Fine, but this is the last time, understand?" They nodded solemnly, but the mischievous glint in their eyes told me they had no intention of stopping their pranks. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Kate worked her magic with makeup, contouring my face to soften my features, while Jody wrestled me into the dress and wig. When they finally let me look in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. I trailed off, at a loss for words. "Beautiful," Kate supplied, grinning. "You make a lovely princess." As families started to arrive, I steeled myself for an evening of humiliation. But to my surprise, the kids were enchanted. Little girls gasped in delight when they saw me, tugging on their parents' hands and pointing. "Look, Mommy, it's Cinderella!" I found myself kneeling down to their level, speaking in a soft, high-pitched voice that I didn't even know I could produce. "Hello, little one. Would you like to hear a story?" The next hour passed in a whirlwind of fairy tales, magic wand-waving, and impromptu dance lessons. Despite my initial reluctance, I found myself getting into the role, twirling in my dress and laughing along with the children. As the last family left, waving goodbye to Cinderella, I caught sight of Kate and Jody watching me from the bar. To my surprise, they weren't laughing or smirking. Instead, they looked impressed. "You know," Kate said as I approached, still swishing in my voluminous skirt, "you're pretty good with kids." Jody nodded in agreement. "Yeah, who knew you had it in you?" I felt a warmth spread through my chest that had nothing to do with embarrassment. "Thanks," I said, surprised to find I meant it. As I changed back into my regular clothes, I found myself reflecting on the evening. Yes, it had been embarrassing, but it had also been fun. The joy on those kids' faces had been genuine, and for a little while I'd been able to bring some magic into their lives. When I emerged from the back room, Kate and Jody were waiting for me. "So," Kate began, a hint of uncertainty in her voice, "we've been thinking—" "Oh," I said, bracing myself for whatever they had planned next. Jody jumped in. "We may have gone a bit overboard with the pranks lately." I snorted. "You think?" "The thing is," Kate continued, "we were jealous. After your cocktail party success, we felt like we had to one-up you somehow. But watching you tonight," Jody added, "we realized something. You've been a good sport through all of this, and, well, maybe we could all work together instead of against each other." I studied their faces, looking for any sign of deception. Finding none, I slowly nodded. I'd like that. Kate's face broke into a genuine smile. Great, because we've got some ideas for future theme nights that we think could be amazing if we all collaborate. As they launched into their plans, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The pranks had been embarrassing, yes, but they'd also pushed me out of my comfort zone in ways I never would have imagined. And now, it seemed, they had led to something even better, a real partnership with my coworkers. All right, I said, grinning despite myself. What did you have in mind? As we huddled together, brainstorming increasingly outrageous and exciting ideas for future theme nights, I couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. Whatever came next, I knew it would be an adventure. And this time, we'd be facing it together. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of creativity and collaboration. Our first joint effort was a time traveler's ball, where each section of the bar represented a different era. Kate took charge of the futuristic zone, transforming a corner into a sleek, neon-lit wonderland complete with space cocktails that smoked and bubbled. Jody masterminded the prehistoric area, draping faux vines from the ceiling and serving drinks in comically oversized mammoth tusk cups. I found myself in charge of the medieval section, donning a jester's outfit that was only marginally less embarrassing than my Cinderella costume. But this time, the laughter from my coworkers was good-natured, and I joined in wholeheartedly as I juggled bottles and performed magical, color-changing drink tricks. The night was a resounding success, with customers eagerly moving from era to era, sampling themed drinks and posing for photos in our hastily constructed time machine photo booth. As we closed up shop, exhausted but exhilarated, I caught Kate and Jody exchanging a look of surprised delight. We'd pulled it off, and it had been more fun than any of us had anticipated. Riding high on our success, we dove into planning our next event with gusto. International Mystery Night saw the bar transformed into a globe-trotting adventure, with each of us taking on the role of a different detective from around the world. I embraced my inner Sherlock Holmes, complete with deerstalker cap and magnifying glass, while Kate channeled her inner Miss Marple and Jody went full Hercule Poirot, waxing her mustache to truly ridiculous proportions. We created a scavenger hunt throughout the bar, hiding clues and staging mock crime scenes for our patrons to solve. The night reached its climax when we enacted a dramatic murder right in the middle of the dance floor, with all three of us hamming it up shamelessly as we accused each other of the dastardly deed. As our theme nights grew more elaborate, word began to spread. Soon, we were attracting customers from all over the city, eager to see what we'd come up with next. The owner, thrilled with the uptick in business, gave us free rein to let our imaginations run wild, and run wild they did. We hosted a circus spectacular that saw me reluctantly agreeing to be shot out of a cannon. Well, a cleverly disguised slide, but the effect was impressive nonetheless. Kate walked a tightrope strung between the bar and the DJ booth, serving drinks without spilling a drop. Jody, resplendent in a ringmaster's outfit, kept the crowd enthralled with her booming announcements and larger-than-life persona. For Underwater Wonderland, we transformed the entire bar into an aquatic paradise. I found myself body-painted blue from head to toe, portraying King Neptune behind a special effects-laden bar that made it appear as though I was submerged in water. Kate and Jody, dressed as a mermaid and a deep-sea diver, respectively, circulated through the crowd, spritzing patrons with sea mist and handing out jellyfish-inspired glow-in-the-dark cocktails. Each theme night brought new challenges, but also new opportunities for us to shine. We discovered hidden talents we never knew we had. Kate revealed a knack for creating intricate origami decorations. Jody turned out to be a whiz with special effects makeup, and I found I had a talent for composing ridiculous theme songs that somehow always got stuck in our customers' heads. But more than that, we discovered a genuine friendship. The playful rivalry that had once divided us now served to push us to greater heights of creativity. We spent hours after closing brainstorming ideas, each of us trying to outdo the others in coming up with the most outlandish concepts. "What about a reverse gravity night?" Jody suggested one evening as we sat amidst the debris of our latest event, a mad scientist's laboratory that had featured smoking test tube shots and a truly alarming number of rubber gloves. Kate snorted. "And how exactly would we manage that? Glue everything to the ceiling?" I grinned, already picturing it. "Actually, that could work. We could serve anti-gravity cocktails that we prepare upside down." And so it went, each idea sparking another, until our theme nights became the stuff of local legend. We had regulars who never missed an event, showing up in elaborate costumes of their own and fully immersing themselves in whatever world we'd created. Of course, not everything went smoothly. There was the Wild West night where an overly enthusiastic patron tried to lasso the chandelier and nearly brought the whole thing crashing down. Or the haunted hospital theme that went a bit too far with the realistic props, sending one squeamish customer running for the hills. But even these mishaps became part of our shared narrative, stories we'd recount with a mixture of exasperation and fondness as we planned our next big event. And through it all, our bond grew stronger. One night, as we were cleaning up after a particularly successful intergalactic cantina event, I found myself looking at Kate and Jody with a sense of wonder. Kate was still wearing her alien antennae, which bobbed comically as she swept the floor. Jody was humming our latest theme song under her breath as she counted out the till, her green face paint slightly smudged after a long night of serving Martian margaritas. "You know," I said, pausing in my task of dismantling a papier-mâché UFO, "I never thought I'd say this, but
I'm glad you guys put me through all those embarrassing theme nights."
They both looked up, surprised. "Really?" Kate asked, a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. I nodded. "If you hadn't, we might never have ended up here. And honestly, I wouldn't trade this for anything." Jody's eyes misted over slightly, though she'd probably blame it on the residual smoke from our dry ice effects. "Oh, look at you getting all sentimental on us." "Group hug," Kate declared, dropping her broom and enveloping us both in her arms. As we stood there, laughing and covered in an assortment of glitter, face paint, and fake alien slime, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. What had started as a series of embarrassing pranks had led to the most fulfilling and entertaining job I could have imagined, and more importantly, to friendships that I knew would last a lifetime. "So," I said as we finally broke apart, "what's next on the agenda? I was thinking maybe a miniature world theme where we all dress as giants." And as we launched into another animated planning session, I couldn't help but smile. Whatever came next, I knew it would be an adventure. And with Kate and Jody by my side, I was ready for anything. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.